Professor Rivera was exactly as advertised, terrifying. She swept into the classroom precisely 1 minute after the scheduled start time, silver streak in her dark curly hair catching the light like a warning beacon. 30 seconds of silence followed as she scanned the room, her gaze lingering momentarily on each of us. Mixed media foundations, she finally announced, her voice carrying surprising depth. If you're here for an easy arts credit, exit now. She gestured toward the door. This course will deconstruct everything you believe about art before you can rebuild it. No one moved. 24 first years holding our collective breath. Good. Rivera nodded once. Your first assignment requires 3 things: observation, negotiation, and courage. You'll work in pairs to create complementary pieces exploring negative space, what exists between what you choose to show. My heart sank as students immediately started making eye contact, forming pairs before instructions were even complete. Classic first day, already the odd one out. Rivera continued, your partners have been pre-assigned based on your application portfolios. Check your emails. A collective exhale, followed by the chorus of notification pings. My assigned partner, Vivian Cruz. The sleek, perfectly put-together girl 3 rows ahead turned, scanning the room with laser focus. When her eyes landed on me, one perfectly shaped eyebrow arched slightly before she gave a curt nod of acknowledgement. This was going to be interesting. And by interesting, I meant potentially disastrous. She paired you with Vivian Cruz? Zoe's eyes widened over her coffee cup. We sat in the crowded campus cafe 2 hours later, debriefing our first day. The Vivian Cruz who Leo says left 3 seniors in tears during last year's pre-college summer program? That's the one. I slumped against the worn leather booth. Apparently our artistic sensibilities offer intriguing counterpoints. Rivera's words, not mine. Counterpoints is fancy academic speak for, will definitely clash, Leo contributed, sliding into the booth beside Zoe with a plate of oversized muffins. Rivera's notorious for pairing opposites. She believes conflict creates better art. Great, I muttered. Vivian already looks at me like I'm something stuck to her designer shoe. Maybe she's just intimidated by your raw artistic talent, Zoe suggested, stealing half of Leo's muffin. Or maybe she's just mean, Leo shrugged. Some people are. Thanks for the pep talk. Anytime. Leo grinned. So what's this negative space assignment anyway? I explained Rivera's cryptic instructions. We're supposed to meet tomorrow to brainstorm, each creating separate pieces that somehow speak to each other through what's missing. Sounds appropriately pretentious, Zoe nodded approvingly. Rivera's reputation remains intact. Speaking of reputations, Leo lowered his voice conspiratorially. Guess who just walked in? I followed his gaze toward the entrance. Marcus Westfield stood at the counter, casually ordering while scanning something on his phone. Unlike Saturday's simple black and gray ensemble, today he wore a faded blue button-down with sleeves rolled to the elbows over dark jeans. The effect was irritatingly appealing. Don't stare, Zoe hissed, which of course made all 3 of us stare more obviously. I'm not staring, I lied, quickly looking down at my rapidly cooling tea. You should talk to him, Leo suggested. You've already met, right? The almost tripod disaster. That doesn't count as meeting, I argued. That counts as humiliating myself in front of someone important. Important? Zoe raised an eyebrow. He's just another student. With 3 national awards and gallery representation, Leo reminded her. In the photography world, that's basically royalty. Stop, I groaned. He's getting his coffee and leaving. End of story. The universe, apparently determined to prove me wrong, had other plans. The cafe suddenly surged with a fresh wave of students as a nearby class dismissed. The resulting chaos sent someone stumbling backward, directly into Marcus, whose coffee splashed spectacularly all over the front of my shirt. Time slowed as hot liquid soaked through my t-shirt. Marcus turned, apology already forming, then recognition flashed across his face. We've got to stop meeting like this, he said, the ghost of that almost smile appearing. Though at least this time I'm the one causing destruction. My brain struggled to form words while my body registered both the coffee's heat and the mortification's burn. It's fine, I managed, grabbing napkins from the table. Hazards of cafe life. Here, Marcus handed me his untouched napkins. Let me buy you a replacement shirt or drink, whichever you prefer. Leo and Zoe watched this exchange with undisguised fascination. Really, it's fine, I insisted, painfully aware of the growing audience. No permanent damage. I insist, Marcus said, then glanced at my notebook open on the table. I'd been sketching rough concepts for Rivera's assignment, most crossed out in frustration. His expression shifted, interest replacing concern. Rivera's negative space project? I blinked in surprise. How did you know? The distinctive Rivera scowl of concentration, he replied. Plus, she assigns the same first project every year. Mind if I sit for a minute? Before I could respond, Zoe scooted over, creating space. Please do. I'm Zoe, this is Leo, and you already know Eliot from your various collisions. Marcus settled into the booth with natural grace. Marcus Westfield. Sorry again about the coffee. It's just furthering our avant-garde performance art series, I said, surprising myself with the callback to our gallery encounter. That earned a genuine smile, not just the hint I'd seen before, but the real thing, complete with the slight dimple in his right cheek. Exactly. We're now 2 pieces into a multimedia disaster collection. Leo snorted appreciatively while Zoe kicked me under the table. So, Marcus gestured toward my sketchbook, you're working with Vivian Cruz? How? I began, then noticed Vivian's name scrawled in the margin beside meeting notes. Yeah. Know her? Something flickered across Marcus's expression. We've worked together on department projects. She's technically gifted. The careful phrasing spoke volumes. But, I prompted. But Rivera paired you 2 for a reason, he replied diplomatically. Your approach to the negative space concept is interesting. He pointed to one of my sketches, a series of fragmented forms that, in my mind, suggested a complete image through carefully structured absences. You're working from the whole toward the gaps, he observed. Most people start with the object and then consider the space around it. You're thinking about both simultaneously. I stared at him, surprised by the accurate assessment of my half-formed concept. That's exactly what I was trying to figure out how to explain to Vivian tomorrow. Marcus reached for my pen. May I? I nodded, watching as he quickly sketched on a clean napkin. A simple composition that somehow made my vague idea suddenly concrete. Show her this, he suggested, sliding the napkin toward me. It might bridge the communication gap between your different styles. The sketch was elegant in its simplicity, a visual translation of my abstract concept. Thanks, I said, genuinely grateful. That's actually incredibly helpful. Anytime, he replied, then checked his watch and grimaced slightly. I should go. Late for lab time. He stood, retrieving a new coffee the barista had prepared. Good luck with the project. Rivera pushes hard, but it's worth it. After he left, Zoe and Leo turned to me with matching expressions of disbelief. What just happened? Zoe demanded. I think, Leo said slowly, the photography department's golden boy just became Eliot's artistic fairy godmother. I stared at the napkin sketch, trying to reconcile the Marcus Westfield of campus legend with the person who'd just taken time to help a coffee-soaked first year with an assignment. He's nothing like I expected, I admitted. The mysterious Marcus Westfield contains multitudes, Leo intoned dramatically. But more importantly, are you going to wash that shirt? Or is it now a priceless artifact from your meet-cute story? It's not a meet-cute, I protested, though the napkin found its way safely between the pages of my sketchbook rather than into the trash. Zoe smirked knowingly. Keep telling yourself that. The napkin sketch would indeed help with tomorrow's meeting with Vivian. But I couldn't help wondering what Marcus had meant about Rivera pairing us, for a reason. What had he seen in my rough sketches that I hadn't yet recognized myself?